morning all of you. Today again welcome in the e-learning session of the Sanskar Public School, and let's start a previous topic. It means we will continue our previous topic which was going on in the previous video. We have left in the previous video about the social reformer, and the last reformer was the Sri Narayan Guru. So now let's start it, and today we will complete this chapter with the two prominent leaders of the national movement of India, and they were the social reformer also. Number one, Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. R Ambedkar. You know well that both are the prominent leader of the India and the national movement, which movement was fought against the British Empire to getting the independence. And they were also reformed the society after, by removing the social evils from the Indian society which was going on, which evils were going on during the British period. So now let's start. So first of all, we are going to learn about the Mahatma Gandhi. You know well who was the Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was the father of the nation, and he had started the so many movements to removing the untouchability. And you know well, in 1931, when the first round table conference, second round table conference and the third round table conference was passed, so in 1932 to 33, third round table conference was held in London, and in which the British Empire invited the Mahatma Gandhi from the Congress party, because the Mahatma Gandhi belonged to the Congress party, but the Mahatma Gandhi didn't take part in it. And in the absence of any Congress leader, the British Empire passed the Cromwell Award. What was the Cromwell Award? Cromwell Award means they want to give the priority and the privileges to only the higher class. Means that, you know well, the British Empire ruled over the India by following the policy of divide and rule. So means that they also want to divide the society on the basis of the caste, creed and religion. So that's why in the Cromwell Award they were mentioned how many privileges were required, how many facilities were required by the Congress leader for the India. We will give it to them. हम उसे वो सब देंगे, but we will give it to only higher class. So means that when the Indian people will know that British government are giving the facility, are giving the privileges only to the higher class, so obviously those who would belong to the lower caste, they will create the riot, and the Cromwell riot was started. What the Cromwell riot word means, that was the fighting on the basis of the caste, creed and the religion, यानी कि जात पात के नाम पर लड़ना या सांप्रदायिकता फैलाना. But in English we have to call Cromwell riot. But in nowadays India is a secular country, so let's start. So that's why when the Cromwell riot was to be passed, then the Mahatma Gandhi want to take the major step against of it, and that's why they have started the so many movements. So in 1932, Cromwell riot was passed in the third round table conference by the British government, and Lord Irwin was the viceroy. So against of it, Gandhi ji set on the hunger strike. They met Dr. R Ambedkar in the same time. That means that in 1932 to 33, that was the year in which the Mahatma Gandhi met with the Dr. R Ambedkar, and they joined hand to each other, and they promised that they will remove the untouchability from the society, because this untouchability became the weapons for the British Empire to criticize the Indians, and they used by the different way. And see, in against of that, in 1932, Gandhi ji sat on hunger strike, and then they told to the Britishers that if the British Empire will not return, will not take back the Cromwell Award, then I will set on a hunger strike unto my death. I will set on a hunger strike unto my death if the British government did not take back the Cromwell Award. The same year, by the help of the Dr. R Ambedkar, they passed the founded the organization. That organization was called the All India Harijan Sangh. They were. It was also became the part of the national movement. National movement was started in 1920, and in 19 national movement, so many small movements were there. When these all small movements merged together, became the national movement, because the all movements into different parts of the country were started against the British policy and to getting the independence. Means that the aim was same of the all movements. How many movements were going on in the India in the same time? So that's why the All India Harijan Sangh, in this All India means that in all over the India, how many untouchables. The Gandhiji gave this name. Gandhiji gave the new title to the untouchable. That title was the Harijan. Harijan means peoples of Hari. Who's Hari? Hari is the God. Hari is the Lord Krishna. So that's why Gandhiji told that all peoples made by the God. We all are the son of the God. So how can we create the difference on the basis of the caste, color or creed? That's why they gave this name. Means that how many untouchables were there. Now they got the new title which was provided by the Gandhiji to them. And now the all untouchable after become the Harijan merged in the Hindu religion. Now they all are the Hindu. अब वो सारे हिंदू थे. So in 1932, All India Harijan Sangh was founded by the Mahatma Gandhi and provided the new title to the untouchable, and Harijans means God's own people. Gandhiji uttered that, means that against of the argument of the peoples of the higher caste, when the higher caste go against of that and create the objection to merging the Harijan people, untouchable people in the Hindu religion, then Gandhiji uttered them. How can we create the differentiate between on the basis of the color, caste and the religion when everyone is made by the God? That's why they also started, Mahatma Gandhi was also started the vigorous campaign for removal the untouchability. Gandhiji also told that it is the one principle, spiritual act. Gandhiji was also against when the higher castes were not allowed to the untouchable to enter into the temples, because the untouchables were not having a right to enter the temple, but Gandhiji was started the vigorous campaign to removing the untouchability and providing the right to them to enter the temple and to worship the God. Now, let's start to know about the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, because Gandhiji and Ambedkar was very familiar to each other to removing the untouchability. So now, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he was born in 1891 in the Mahua village. Mahua village is present in MP. MP का एक छोटा सा village है, and he belonged to the lower caste. Means that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar belonged itself to the lower caste. That's why he is first experienced how the lower caste and the oppressed society were suffered by the higher class. यानी कि higher class कैसे torture करती है. So they were experienced about that, and that's why they took a oath in very childhood age कि one day I will removing the untouchability and providing the equality to all. So he also started the movement in 1927, temple entry movement. As I told you now, in that time the untouchable peoples were not having a right to do worship and to enter into the temple because they were untouchable, and the God and the worship made for only higher class. Now the first movement was started by the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in 1927. It was started to provide the right to the peoples, untouchables, to enter into the temples, and next movement was started in 1930 to providing the separate electorate. Separate electorate means the untouchables should also having a right to vote. वोट करने का अधिकार उन्हें भी होना चाहिए. If they are untouchable, if they cannot give vote with the other peoples, other society members, then they should provide the separate electorate to them by the government. उन्होंने कहा कि if we are the untouchable, if we cannot take part in the election in the same line with a higher caste, then government provide the separate electorate to them, us. And later in 1948, when the Constituent Assembly was formed. What is the Constituent Assembly? Constituent Assembly was the committee and the assembly of the 289 and the 300 members. And that was the assembly which were responsible to framing the constitution. That assembly was also made the separate committee. That committee was called the drafting committee. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was also became the chairman of the drafting committee, and he was responsible to finalize the constitution. Means that constituent assembly prepared the proposals, clauses, which how many clauses and the articles were mentioned in our constitution, but these clauses were finalized by the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, because he was the chairman of the drafting committee. Chairman the, and that's why the drafting as a member, as a chairman of the drafting committee, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar played a very vital role and to make the very strong constitution. And in constitution they also mention that no one is having a right to torture and to create the communal riot on the basis of the color, caste and the religion. And they also mention that everyone is having a right to equality, enjoy the privileges, how many privileges provided by the government and the constitution to the citizens of the India. Now let's start about the constitution. In our constitution there are two articles, article number 15 and the article number 17, which articles protect our fundamental right and to stop the camel riot and the discrimination. So now let's start. Number 1, article 15. Article 15 of the Indian Constitution states and utter that no Indian citizen shall be discriminated on the basis of the caste, creed, religion and the race. Article number 15. What the article number 15? That is the article at present in our constitution 425 articles. So out of this, article number 15 is said. क्या कहता है कि no one Indian citizen is having a right to discriminate, to violated the fundamental right on the basis of the color, caste or the religion. यानी कि हम किसी भी इंसान को कलर के बेस पे, कास्ट के बेस पे, रिलीजन के बेस पे उसके फंडामेंटल राइट से अवॉइड नहीं कर सकते. Now the article number 17. Article number 17 of the Indian Constitution is said that declared it कि practice of the untouchability, practice of the discrimination is illegal and prohibited by the Constitution. And if anyone found to create and to follow the discrimination and the untouchability, now it is a punishable offense. It is a punishable offense. I and anyone is create the discrimination and the untouchability on the basis of the color, caste and the religion, then according to the constitution provide the judiciary provide the punishment to them, because it is a illegal and it is a punishable offense by the constitution. So now I hope you know well about the all social reformers and about the article number 15 and the 17 and movements also, how many movements were started by the leaders and by the social reformers after to removing the social evil, untouchability, different orthodox practice in the society. For an example, sati pratha, female infanticide, polygamy, child marriage, girls' education was prohibited, and untouchability, and the so many more. Now you all are aware about these practice which were going on before the independence, and now its chapter is over. In the next video we will start the next chapter, and again we will know about the society and about the present condition, what the present condition and what privileges provided by the government to us. So now thank you and learn well.